Hi, everybody. It's Adele Frizzell here with,
Tiffany Buck here.
and today we're answering a question that came up a couple weeks ago from Maureen. She was wondering about core exercises. I forget the exact question that she had, but it inspired today's Facebook Live, which is, should you train your core? Like, how important is it? And what exercises can you do? Why you should train your core? And maybe why you might not need to train your core. So we'll get into that today. Anything you want to add, Tiffany?
No, I think that we're going to talk about everything during the thing. I was about to start saying stuff and I was like, nope, we're going to get into it in a second.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe if you don't mind monitoring the comments as you usually do, if you ladies have any questions at all, we have a few gents in here, but if you have any questions at all, fire away and we will answer them during this Facebook Live. When it's over, if you're watching the replay, ask away. We'll be monitoring the chat and we're happy to answer your questions. Okay, so let's get started. Let's define with what your core is so that we're all on the same page, because a lot of people think of your core as your abs and they want to train their core. They think, I actually just want a six-pack abs or more defined abs, okay? But your core is far more than just your ab muscles. It includes your spine, your pelvic girdle, your abs, abdomen, and hip joints. And some definitions even include your lats, which is your upper back muscles. Your shoulders and your chest will also play a role in your core stability and strength, but they just play a role in that. It's helpful to think of your core as your trunk, right? That's where your core muscles are. So if you chopped off your arms and legs, that's your trunk, and that's where your core is. And when all these muscles are aligned and working together, your core is stable and strong. And when your core is stable, your entire body benefits. You're stronger, more balanced. You can generate more power when needed, which helps to prevent injuries and falls and improves performance in the gym or outside the gym. So if anyone is attending this Facebook Live, we would love a little hello in the comments, and that will actually help the Facebook algorithms push this Facebook Live into people's news feeds so they're aware we're even running this. Unfortunately, Facebook only shows about 10 to 10% of our members what's going on at any given time. Not every post is actually seen by members of this group, but the more commented a post is, the more liked it is, the more Facebook bots go, oh, this is an important topic. This is popular. I'm going to actually show it in people's news feeds. So we'd really appreciate some love. Okay, so why might you want to work out your core? Well, because it's weak. Basically, that's the bottom line. And why, what are some of the signs that you have a weak core? Well, there is an article on my blog, on my website at adelefrizzell.com. If you go to the blog section, you typed in the search box core, you're going to see several articles on your core. And one of them is called 7 Warning Signs You Have a Weak Core. So we'll just touch on that today, okay? Tiffany, do you have that blog post open?
I actually just posted it in the comments on the
great.
Facebook Live, and I can open up that blog post right now.
Great. Okay, so your core muscles are some of the most important muscles in your body. They support your spine and your internal organs, and they power almost every movement you make. And the problem is our lifestyles work against having a strong core. And over time, your muscles can get weaker without you even realizing it. And this can set you up for poor posture and injuries and aches and pains and lower back pain and all that stuff that is actually considered quite common or considered part of the aging process, but it doesn't have to be this way. Here are 7 warning signs you have a weak core. Number 1, do you want to take it away, Tiffany?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you've ever noticed that whenever you're getting out of your bed or out of the chair in the morning, and instead of just standing up, you have to use your arms to push yourself up out of that bed or out of that chair, you might have a weak core. So maybe test it out. Sit down in a chair and then try standing up. See, am I automatically reaching for something to help me stand up? Or am I able to do that without even reaching out for something? If you reach for something automatically, chances are it's a habit that you have. So that's a sign of a weak core.
Yeah. Another one is if you're laying in bed. So in the morning, see if you can get yourself into a sitting position without using your hands to push you up. And if you need your hands to sit or to go from lying to sitting, it's a sign that your core could use some strengthening. Another one, oh gosh, I'm kind of bad at this. Slouching while you're driving or at your desk, right? That's another subconscious sign. So there is a posture connection, but sometimes there isn't because I actually have a pretty decent core. But the more and longer you sit, the more you're prone to slouching. And it makes sense because over time, your muscles get tired of holding you up. And what can happen is it makes it harder for your lungs to expand, and that makes for shallow breathing. And it makes, pretty much all the muscles in the front of your body become really tight and inflexible, and that can make you fatigued. And there is a posture depression connection, actually, which I have an article on my blog about. But basically, just the more folded and tight and compact you can become, the more it can impact your mood as well. Also, it can impact your digestion, how bloated you might get, if you have acid reflux, how well you digest foods. We need to open up and expand our diaphragms. But this is all to say that the more you slouch, the more it can lead to weakness. Yeah. What's another one, Tiffany?
Balance. If you notice that you have bad balance, then that might be a sign of it. And if you're not sure if you have bad balance, something that you can do to help you test out that balance is try to stand on one foot for 15 to 30 seconds and then repeat on the other side. If you find yourself wobbling, if you find yourself like tipping over, then you can kind of think about zipping up through your core muscles, like using a zipper to hold yourself up while you stand on one foot. See if that helps, and make sure that you're still breathing. So breathing can help too.
Yeah. And side note, unilateral exercises where you're working one arm or one leg, like one side of your body at a time, can really help with balance. And
so I do want to say real fast that we have Maureen here. She says, I'm here. Hello, I have a weak core. And Jeannie is on as well. Hi, Jeannie.
Nice.
Hi, Maureen. Thanks for coming.
Ladies. So another one is, do you feel weak or off balance when you do certain movements like throw or kick? I don't know if you ever tried to kick like a soccer ball and you missed and you fell. That's what I'm talking about, right?
I'm thinking of like the Charlie Brown movie right now. I'm thinking of Charlie Brown where he kicks and falls.
Yeah. When you move with force, your core fires up to keep you stable, especially during unilateral or one-sided movements. And not being able to generate much force is a sign your core is weak. All right, another one.
Something else is your plank form. A lot of people think that they're doing a plank properly, but they're really not. If you ever find that whenever you're doing a plank and your tush is up in the air, or you have an arch in your back and your hips are down towards the floor, that is a sign of a lack of core strength. I couldn't get the word out there for a second. So your shoulders, your back, and your butt should all be neutral. It should all be in one flat line. I like to think of it from top of your head down to your tailbone, one flat line. Your neck should be long and strong, so not dropping that head down, keeping that neck nice and neutral. And your legs should be engaged as well, because you're going to feel this a plank throughout your entire body. If you have a difficult time holding this, it might mean that you have some imbalances in those muscles. And then also something to note here as well is that holding a plank in improper form can reinforce any weaknesses or imbalances that you have. So practicing on that perfect form is very important. It's better to be able to do a 10-second plank perfectly than a 30-second plank with bad form.
100%. Yeah, that's good. Another one is you hold your breath when you do planks and other core exercises, and that matters because of a muscle deep inside your body, which is your diaphragm. Not only does your diaphragm play a key role in breathing, it also works with your deep core muscles. So if you can't breathe and hold a plank at the same time, chances are it's because your core muscles are weak. And that's maybe one reason why coaches are always cueing people to breathe, whether they're a yoga teacher, a group fitness instructor, or whatever, because people forget to breathe usually when they're doing some kind of core or bracing exercise.
Mm-hmm. So something else is if you ever notice that your hip flexors or your legs get tired when you're doing ab or core exercises, then that's a sign of a weak core as well. If you notice that happening, then what you should do is focus on one, engaging your core. And if you don't know what we mean by engaging your core, I want you to think of taking a string and connecting it to your belly button and pulling your belly button in towards your spine. You're going to pull all those muscles together and make that nice tight core. And then you want to also focus on moving more intentionally. So putting a lot of thought into how you're moving, breathing, and then also modifying the movement by going more slowly or shortening your range of motion until your core is stronger. Again, that goes back to 10 seconds perfect plank or 30 seconds bad plank. We're always going to want you to try to practice those movements as perfectly as possible, the good form, good quality reps, versus just pumping them out to get in as many reps as you can. So that's definitely going to be helpful as well.
Mm-hmm. So we hope you're going to consider some of these. And if you notice you're not good at some of these things, like sitting without using or standing up without using your hands, holding your breath whenever you brace, then it is probably a good idea to do some core work. So who can benefit from training their core? Well, if you notice one of these weaknesses, that's probably you. But not everybody needs them. For example, bodybuilders really have no need to do them because we're already lifting with free weights. So if you're a person who lifts with free weights, you're going to be doing lots of exercises that already require bracing and engaging your core. But if you still bodybuilding, you like to do additional core work, go ahead. I don't feel that is absolutely necessary though. You're already getting a core workout by doing so many exercises such as a squat, a deadlift, a standing press. Can you think of some other exercises, Tiffany?
I mean, just a traditional bench press.
Yeah.
You get some core in a traditional bench press too.
Yeah.
Dumbbell presses for sure, because you've got that unilateral and you're having to stabilize it. Mm-hmm. Any overhead movement.
Yeah.
Anything standing.
Anything with any kind of bracing or engagement will work out your core sufficiently. Farmer carries are another great one for bracing. A lot of powerlifting and strongman stuff uses core a lot. And some of those guys will actually do some core work prior to or separate from their workout, because having a solid core is so important for strongman and powerlifting. That said, I really don't work out my core. I have pretty good core. I mean, I would do yoga class and I could hold boat pose longer than anybody else, including the instructor in the class. And I never did that, practice that on its own. So I think if you lift, you're probably pretty good. But when we say lift, we're not talking about machine exercises. We're talking about barbells and dumbbells. Okay. Group fitness instructors love doing core. I feel like they're a little indoctrinated in this. I actually have my own group fitness instructor certification as well. And it is beneficial because they're dealing with a lot of non-lifting populations and general populations who don't do bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman. They just, all their exercise comes from group fitness classes. And so incorporating some core into those classes is a good idea. And I think it's beneficial for those populations. But bottom line, if you don't exhibit any of those signs, you probably have a strong core. If you do, you might want to consider adding some core exercises in. Do them if you enjoy them. But generally, if you weight train 3 to 4 times a week using free weights, you probably don't need to. So, and oh yeah, we should talk about abs.
Yeah.
Right?
So like, a lot of people think that training core means that you're automatically going to end up with abs. Yeah. That's not necessarily true.
It's not true. It's one of those jokes like, I do 1,000 crunches a day, I'm going to get abs. No, like the biggest thing you can do to have abs, and this will work for anybody, is get to really low body fat levels. Boom, your abs are going to show.
Yeah, they're there right now. I promise you, if you're watching this, you have abs.
They're just under
just
a
because
layer.
you cannot see them does not mean they don't exist. They're there.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you want to develop them so they pop a bit more, yeah, you might want to do some extra ab workouts. But let me tell you, there are IFBB pros out there whose careers around bodybuilding who don't actually work out abs. And they have amazing, amazing abs. Here's an example. Jared Feather, who is an IFBB pro, he actually said this on his Instagram account, which I found very interesting. He says, when I trained abs, now I just brace properly. So in the gym, he braces, and it's enough for me to maintain my abs. I would do them at the end of my leg training and then on my rest day, or sprinkled in when they were not sore. So he used to do abs, right? He says 3 to 5 sets of weighted decline sit-ups are what he would do, or candlesticks or hanging leg raises were his go-to exercises. Once you get the abs developed, it's very easy to maintain them, even without direct training. So not even saying, well, today I'm going to add in some ab exercises. You're getting them indirectly trained by doing other exercises like standing shoulder press and stuff like that. And he notes, I would avoid oblique training for the appearance of a smaller waist, because for bodybuilders, having, large lats and a small tapered waist is really important for aesthetic appearance. And when you work your obliques, which are your side abdominal muscles, they can make you have a thicker waist. So you know who has really thick waists in general? CrossFitters.
CrossFit. I like how we're both like at the same time. CrossFitters. Yep.
Yeah. They get 6 packs, but they are very blocky in their waists. Okay. So, no need to train your obliques if you really want that whittled waist appearance. Having said that, I really enjoy power presses, and I just recently incorporated them in the last week because we've been talking about core, and I'm like, I haven't done power presses in a long time, and they felt really good. Like I was activating things deep inside that I don't necessarily, focus on during regular lifting. So I just started doing them for the heck of it because we were talking about this. I felt inspired. Again,
I think that it's important. Yeah, I think that it's important to note that, like you said, if you enjoy doing it, do it,
Yeah. So what are some core exercises you enjoy?
Me personally,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't train core.
You know what I think is really underrated and actually backed by research? Dead bugs. Dead bugs are great for activating the core. And when I took a powerlifting workshop with Chad Wesley Smith and Marisa Inda, they had us all doing dead bugs prior to doing our lifting. They wanted us to really feel that engagement. So it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and it's great because I actually, this might be TMI, but I had to go see a pelvic floor specialist after having 4 kids. Yeah. And that's one of the exercises that she had me doing was dead bugs, and just the benefits of doing the dead bugs are amazing.
Well, somebody was asking about that, like what are great exercises to do when you've had kids? What were some other ones she recommended?
Dead bugs. She had me doing marches. So just like standing in place and bringing my knees up nice and high. And I actually had to do banded side to side walks. So lateral walks. Those. Yeah. So little things like that helped. But a lot of times it was just dead bugs or single leg lifts. So this is interesting because the banded sidewalks are like people will use for their glutes and stuff. Mm-hmm. So you're working your core out if you do that. And people don't think of those as a core exercise. They think of them as a glute exercise. And it was more for like, I think that one was more to help with like my hip mobility, to help my pelvic girdle be in proper placement.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
It's crazy how all that works together.
So in terms of like, what are some core exercises that we think are good? Dead bugs probably top the list. And you can look these exercises up on YouTube, okay? Power press, planks, front and side are really good. Bird dogs, excellent. bridges, flutter kicks, Russian twists, candlesticks, hanging leg raises. Those are all nice core exercises. You could add them in at the end of a workout if you want, see how it feels. But again, six packs are built in the kitchen, and you really have to get to low body fat levels to see them. And everyone's got abs. You just need to lose the layer of, I don't know, what's a nice way to say it? The fat layer covering them in order to see them, right? Burn the fat, reveal the muscle.
Yep, absolutely. So we do have a couple of comments here.
Okay.
Maureen says she's doing 3 sets of dead bugs a day now.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
That seems to be
great.
helping her. Mm-hmm. And then Jeannie said that she heard that there are some exercises you should avoid if you have dissectus recti, as they can actually be worse and not help correct it. Is this true? And what exercise should we do or not do? Again, we're not.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't speak to that. I need to do a little research in the back end. Yeah. But what you could do, and I'm sorry we forgot to look at this for you. Let me do some digging and see if I can find an article to link to that might be helpful. I have heard the same thing. I'm just not a specialist in this area.
I think that seeing a pelvic floor specialist, and they generally work with physical therapists. You can find a lot of them at a physical therapist's office. They can work with you specifically to help with dissectus recti. They can actually help diagnose how bad the dissectus recti is. But yeah, I have heard basically what I have heard, and again, I'm not a professional in this, is any movement that creates coning on the stomach is something that you should avoid.
Coning.
So basically, yeah, coning. So if your stomach, if you're laying flat on your back and you pick your legs up and you notice the middle of your stomach comes up into a pyramid type shape, that's called coning, then you want to avoid that exercise. So some people will have different exercises that causes coning than other people will.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, I'm going to do some digging into this. I guess one other thing I touched on earlier, I want to mention again is, some people complain of poor digestion or bloating or acid reflux, and that can be the result of poor posture, which is impacted by poor core strength, right? Core muscles and posture go together like white on rice, and so does your posture and your digestive system. So all of this interrelates. And if you experience bloating after you eat, check your posture. If you have acid reflux, consider your posture. Are you leaning forward? It can put pressure on your abdomen, which can force stomach acid up into your esophagus. And your posture is impacted by how good your core is too. Bottom line, a strong core supports your body for a healthy, active, and fit life. And so it is important. So definitely look for, those 7 signs you have a weak core. And if you do something about it. All right. I think that's it for today.
Yeah, I think so. Thanks for coming on to the call and joining us. Let us know if you have any specific topics you want to talk about. And again, we are going to continue to try to look into the dissectus recti and give you more feedback on that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's going to be research-based. So you might be better off, if you have a question about dissectus recti, finding someone that specializes in that specifically.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was just thinking though, Coach Bree might have some input here because she has a master's in exercise science, and she's also specializes in older populations. She might have some input here too. So I'll tap her as well to see if she has any comments on that. And as a side note, if you're interested in working with us, we have a new U program. It has diet and combo. Combo includes diet plus personal training. Everything takes place online. If you'd like more information on that, we will link to it in the comments. You can check it out. I do 1 webinar a month where you can come and ask me any questions you have about the program prior to signing up. But Bree has a few spots available. If you're interested, she can take on a few more clients this summer. All righty. I think that's everything.
I think so. Thanks for coming on, guys. We'll see you
next week. Thank you very much. Yeah. See you next week. Bye.